All right, here we go. Show number 6 of Into the Cubieverse. Hey, it's your boy Atrocities here with Lionheart this week. You'll notice that we're missing Magic Dragon, who's not able to do his fabulous introduction for us. So, um, hey, how was your week in the Cubieverse, Lionheart?
Oh, it's on.
Oh, you got it. Excellent. All right.
We can't hear him.
Awesome. That sounds like
Chris.
we're nobody can hear us. Okay. Well, let me. I know what the issue is here. There we go. Can we hear Lionheart now?
Hey guys, can you hear me now? Just wait for the delay there.
There's a little bit of delay. I think I know what the issue is.
Oh, yep, they can hear me now. Possibly CC Johns said he
I think
can
there's a bit
hear
of a
me.
delay. I
Not,
think there's a bit of a delay.
no,
No.
not Lionheart. No, bummer.
Now. I think we're okay. We got it fixed
Yep,
now.
yep,
All right.
we're good. We're good.
Yeah,
Wait
we
for
need
anyone
to.
else. Okay,
We'll get
we're on
these things
fire.
eventually figured out. But
Okay, sorry guys. Thanks for calling us out there. I was just explaining my weekend Cubieverse, and I was pretty excited, so wasn't even paying attention to the tech side of things. So yeah, I was just saying the Chinese New Year was a bit of a letdown. Didn't get the blueprint, 92 trade shacks, but I put my butt in gear and ended up buying it in the auction house. I sold everything that wasn't nailed to the floor. I'm sure some of you guys in the chat today helped me out with some of that, and I think I came out with just over 800,000 cubic coins. So I spent 510,000 on the Jade blueprint. Ended up getting a Skelly for 174. I bought a yellow cubie, just not the yellow dragon cubie, not the blueprint.
I hope it
And
wasn't just
I
a
killed.
yellow cubie.
No, a yellow dragon cubie.
Okay.
Yeah, because more on that later. I'm building my dragon team. I'm going to train some dragons. So and then decided with my wife we got to up our stomping grounds and mapped out some sites. We're going to put in some blue vaults and get them to level 10. And going to get her out hunting some blues so that she can get her sushi restaurant built before she leaves in the summertime for a half a year trip.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a pretty exciting week. How about yourself, Atrocities?
Well, unfortunately, I was not much in the Cubieverse the last week. I was away on business. I was in Mexico, which is supposedly a soft
Oh,
launch location. Um, However, the resort so I was really excited going down to see what a soft launch location looked like. I was hoping I would be able to continue to pick up some, vaults and whatnot. But when we got to my resort that I was staying at, I got there, looked around, not a single vault to be found.
Oh,
I
oh man.
switched over to the builder mode, and there were 2 locations I could have built a structure on if I had so desired to.
Oh,
But I decided I was not
nice.
going to be there that long to get them completed, so did not do that. So that was kind of disappointing. But the upside of that was I was able to achieve some walking goals and collect keys without any need to spend them. So that
Well,
was
that's
it.
pretty cool. That still
Yeah.
worked there.
The other thing I found was that this is the first time I've traveled someplace and haven't felt a need to move my headquarters. So I was able to save on some green keys from that. So I do think that's kind of a good change that they brought in with the new headquarters, where I don't have to, you know, um, access it 3 times a day in order to collect my regular vaults as we had in the old world. So
Right.
I think it's a good change. So yeah.
Yeah.
But as
Right on.
to and of course I just discontinued from the auction house. So that's that was one other thing with that. But how do you think they ended up the Chinese New Year event overall? How did it end up?
You know what? I liked it because I like the different flavors that we're getting for events. Christmas was pretty easy. It was really just a gift. If you applied yourself, you were able to complete it. Halloween was pretty similar. Minus the sacrifice that was always a bit difficult every year. But then we get into the Chinese New Year, and it's
Yeah.
completely random. You got that 1% chance to get that epic blueprint. And the easiest way to think about it is like 100-sided die. It's not like you visit 100 trade shacks and you're just bound to get the blueprint. It doesn't matter how many times you apply yourself. We had 2 hunters that got it on their first try. I heard of other people getting it on their second. We had Plumber Boy on the show talking on day 2 that he got it on like his 20th or 22nd. So it's really frustrating when you're not getting it, but it was a lottery, and there was only 245, I think, that were collected.
Oh, really?
And
That few.
yeah, so that applies, rarity and value to and scarcity to it, right? Everybody wants a free lunch, but then
Yeah.
they want it to be worth something, and that's just not how economics works. So it was a great event. I liked the themes. Yeah, I got burned hitting 92 trade shacks. I applied myself, but it lit a fire under my butt for other aspects of the game and got me, excited. I was back into the auction house and, sniping that blueprint and, pissing people off with those 14-minute bids. I wasn't giving up on it, right? So, I had a lot of fun. Had a lot of fun coming out of that event. So, final thoughts on it. I think it was good. Not all events are like this. So I think it's great to just, once a year have something based around luck. And that's, pretty much what the Lunar Festival is all about. It's just get together with friends, family, have a good time, and lots of luck for the new year.
That is
So how about
true.
yourself?
Because I
What,
agree, because that was one of the things you noticed through almost all the questions, was Chinese New Year was luck and wearing red and all that other, sort of stuff. So having it be a luck-based event, I think, is totally on point, totally on theme. The only much more thing on theme would be as if you could increase your chances by wearing some sort of pure red cubie, which I've never heard anybody say that worked out for them. Personally, I was on the other side of that, where I got my blueprint on like maybe my third trade shack or so, third or fourth, whatever it was, like super early, first time out, and it was like, this is awesome, right? And no stress the rest of the event at all. It was all at that point. It was all about matter of just making sure I was collecting as many of the resources I could get. my wife also, I think I mentioned, she got hers that same night, first night. So that was also a great stress reliever because, and we've talked about before, that Christmas Nutcracker where I got it and she did not was, you know, much source of stress as well. So getting it early was great. I said last show that I thought the Chinese New Year event was like the best one. They're knocking it out of the park. They're doing really well with it, and I was a little concerned at one point that they weren't going to stick the landing when they increased the drop rate from, I think, from 15 to 20, and they had the drop rate, and despite the announcement, the drop rate wasn't going up. And most often not, even though you answered the question right, it was going wrong. They had a bug, and then all their trade checks got reset at 7 o'clock that night unexpectedly. And so then some people were able to take advantage of it, other people were not, and it was like kind of like, uh-oh, like what's happening here, because everything had gotten really smooth at that point. And because I know personally, I was getting up and I was getting my trade chats earlier in the day, right, to kind of do it, get them out of the way. And then when they trained us the previous day, it says, hey, when they make an announcement, they'll make an announcement, and then the amounts are going to go up. So it's like, well, you know, you should wait for that, especially when the announcement comes out. Wait for the announcement before you start collecting the trade checks, which is what I did. And fortunately for us, we started going out and starting collecting our trade checks probably about half an hour before the reset. So some of them we got before, half of them we got after, so we were able to go back and double dip.
Nice.
But kind of frustrating from that point of view that I wasn't able to double dip them all. But what can be. So I was kind of concerned that, if they were going to start resetting the trade checks every 12 hours or so, that was going to increase it. Turns out it's a one-time glitch. They got it fixed out. So I'm going to give them a pass. But, in my mind, that takes what I would have said a 10 out of 10 event. Or I'll say 9 out of 10 event and drop it to like an 8 out of 10 event just for that glitch. But otherwise, I think it's doing awesome. And I'm going to say likewise, I never give a perfect score because you can always do better, right? You always try better.
That's right.
So in my mind, 9 out of 10 is almost as best you can do. So I was there, but hopefully, and kind of like the feeling I got from comments and everybody else thought the event went well. I don't know what your RNG was on going those trade checks and getting additional resources. But I was actually getting a fair number of hits on those resources, which normally doesn't happen for me on trade checks. Trade checks seem to hate me, but our good RNG seemed to get saved up for the event on this. So,
Yeah, you know what? I actually hit it out of the park for resources. Like on my final run there, I didn't tell a whole lot of people this because it's kind of embarrassing, but I got out of work at midnight. I came home, made myself a sandwich and a pre-coffee and went to bed for a nap, and got up at 4 a.m. and drove to London. And I drove through Dorchester, and I hit all the trade shacks as many as I could, heading right up to the mall there, and then got there about 20 minutes before reset and watched an episode of Rick and Morty, and then went back through for the double dip there. And I was so mad that I didn't get the blueprint, but I was hitting bonus drops left, right, and center. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, it was like every other trade shack I was getting a bonus drop of 250 paper. I got 250 jade scales twice, like within 15 minutes of each other, and I was just, every time I saw that second icon come up, I'm like, yeah, I got the blueprint, and then I'm like, oh no, I'm not getting it. So after buying the Jade blueprint, I was able to print a second one with just buying an extra 150 of the jade stones in the auction house. So I did really well with the
Yeah,
RNG this event for resources at least. So
that's nice. Like my wife, last time we were out, she popped, um, you know, a 250 jade stones on top of getting the 25 base or so. So 275, which
nice.
was enough to get her to be positioned to complete another print,
Perfect.
which was pretty sweet for her. Best I got on that was 250 red dragon scales, and 250 red dragon scales, which at one point I say, they were dragon scales, but they weren't the jade ones we were looking for. So, but overall, I thought that went really well. So awesome.
Yeah.
All right,
Yeah.
so
Hope they bring it back next year. So
definitely.
yeah.
Okay, so let's move on to cover the Hunter's Lodge. I know that the Hunter's Lodge was um, a little shorter on content or so this time around. But they're going to try and do more of them. Um, so we'll just go over it. And I know first time we did a Hunter's Lodge recap, kind of went over slides. I'm going to try and maybe capture this slightly differently, where just kind of talk about some of the highlights and then focus on more of the important things on a couple different slides or so. So obviously, from a Lodge point of view, some back end game improvements, right? They got a new OpenStreetMap updated database, some improvements for iOS and walking goals. Back end of that's really good. Improving for lower end phones, I think, is obviously helpful. In-game broadcast system improvement, I think that's nice. I don't think that's, I think we'll see what happens with it, what they can do with it, but not necessarily huge improvement on it or whatever. And then the other things in here, just scrolling through whatever. The tutorials, right? Not necessarily relevant for us, but glad to see they're putting the tutorials in. And
Yeah. Well, I'd actually just like to touch on that a little bit, because I do remember how crappy it was just trying to navigate the game as a new player, and I hadn't really dived into any game like Pokemon Go beforehand. And if it wasn't for, just trying to reach out in social media and make friends and figure out what to do next, I wouldn't have done so well. So I am really happy that they're starting to get a more advanced tutorial system that's going to help new players through, because I'm sure a lot of people rage quit when they just can't figure a game out.
oh, for sure. And I know we've promoted the games of some friends over the years or so, and my wife had a friend who joined who, she's trying to help and whatever, but yeah, she just didn't understand and did whatever. So, kind of said, yeah, just not for me. So the more tutorials and whatnot they put in, I think is a great sign, great step for sure. So likewise, all the back end tweaks and whatnot, I think they're all good things for sure.
Right on. Yeah.
Yeah, but and then okay, so next thing I got on here leads well is tweaks to QB staffing. So basically, all the user vaults that are out there that are either white or blue currently, going to get reset. You're going to have to reopen them again, and they're going to send you back your QBs, and you're going to have to repopulate them with the appropriate level QBs. So whites are for commons, rares are for blues, and then the epics for the greens. What's your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah, just about that. So I hope they're not just gonna do like a complete QB exodus and it's gonna be a blackout and you have to go out there and hit all your vaults. I think it's just gonna be like if you've got the incorrect rarity staffing that vault, because we need to have commons on the white, rares on the blues, and epics on the green. But I did ask in there what happens when that goes down. And they said, yeah, definitely the vault is going to be inoperable and you need to go back and get it staffed if you don't have the right staffing requirements. So something to watch out for is inactive players. So you might have all of a sudden a bunch of vaults and structures go down in your area. Well, I guess it's just, well, it says tweaks to QB staffing. I know they just talked about user vaults, but I guess you would have already had to have your other requirements met for any structure. So
Yeah.
I won't let that thought trail off. But yeah, I like it. I like Illusion Weaver said, it was always in the works, and I think it makes sense. But seeing in a lot of the chatter with Raichu, 151 greens, and all greens are being reset to ribbon cutting stage, and that's
Yeah.
going to be a challenge.
I think we can talk about
But
ratio when we get to the green. No, let's talk about, yeah, because I know I went in our
yeah,
local Discord and I asked him about that, like how many green vaults he had, and he came back. He says he thinks he has about 151 or so,
geez.
but he's not certain. And like he bought them over 8 months over 3 provinces in Canada. Well,
Yeah.
once this happens, obviously, he's probably not going to be able to rush out, get them all back up and running right away.
Hmm.
And likewise,
But
I don't know if he's got 151 epics sitting around, or even the resources to print 151 epics.
yeah.
Right?
Well, I guess it's fair that pirates and sharks have dropped in price. Maybe now people will be rushing out to buy them, and we might see a bump in
They might
price.
get
So
some people. Well, Rashu, if anybody, would be the guy, but I don't think that many people are gonna. I think though that is like the rare exception.
mhm,
Not many people are gonna have like that many green user vaults.
right.
So hopefully, they, being Titanium Toaster, put something in place for some of these people that have made these major investments and own
Hmm.
dozens or hundreds of green vaults, that they can either remotely get them launched, or do something for them. Because like it'd be because like the intention with this, of course, is that to create more green user vaults available for people in their areas. And if all
Hmm.
of our shoes user vaults are knocked out of service for a period of time, that's not helping anybody, right? So,
Right.
um, so hopefully they create some tool, or do something for him, because I'm sure there's probably another handful of people are like him, and he's the exception or so. But
Yeah.
the vast majority of players that have like 2, 3 green vaults at most. I know I only have one. That's not going to be a problem going out and
Hmm.
swapping them out. And I kind of look forward to being able to put um, a green user vault, a guy on my green user vault. I know.
Yeah, I've been waiting.
Like I leveled up a couple of uh, leprechauns to level 10. They're kind of useless to put on a trade shack now. I think they're a waste. Um,
Yep.
and
Might be
so,
good for a blue vault though.
yeah, but putting them on a blue vault, then I get the value out of them that way. So, um,
Hmm.
for sure. And the other good thing about this is it gives you a reason to level up a common QB now, right? Because
Right.
currently you want to be leveling up epics for your trade shacks, and otherwise, um, you know, commons or whatnot, or whatever, um,
Hmm.
and not needed. So this is a good change, I think, right? For sure.
Yeah, it'll give you a bit more push to use those cubies that are just sitting on the shelf. And I think we're going to see a lot more tweaks come into the game like that, because I don't think we're leveling just for the sake of leveling, right? I just think they have a grandmaster plan. There's too many things to release all at once.
Yeah.
And it sounds like they're gearing up for more active involvement in events and quest chains, especially if you're a Green User Vault owner. That you may just have to staff it with a certain QB in order for an event to go in your favor or your community's favor. I don't know. It could be an exciting year.
For sure. For sure. All right. So that's basically tweaks the staffing. Moving in then, like the green user vault itself, right? So we can now do that. That's 5,000 crystal keys is the base, obviously modified by local country modifier. You can only build one per player. In addition to, so you can build one, and if you already own a bunch, well, you already own a bunch, but players can only build one.
Mhm.
The 5% key kickback on a green user vault is still good. It has to be in the outdoor leisure space. So, and then they also indicated that it has to be 3,000 meters, which I think is 3 kilometers away from another green user vault. So I'm not sure. I was thinking about some places, and I'm thinking, I don't know how close they are. So that 3,000 might be a factor in play, and it might encourage people to want to move those sooner rather than later on that front.
Yeah,
Right?
I would think so. And you know what? It's not as pricey as I thought it was going to be. I thought it'd be around the 10,000 crystal keys, more equivalent to the $100 USD.
Yeah.
But they're doing it right at the $50 USD. So it's, kind of reasonable, I guess, for new players. A little bit of a catch. I know some people will be upset that they spent $100 US in the old system, but I guess they had the ability to buy as many as they want. Where here you're limited to one, so
right, and
has its pros and cons, right?
And in theory, you're not having to spend. In this case, you would. The other ones were $100, but you don't have to buy. To get it. You would still need to buy the white and the blue. You and then level those up, right? So I don't know how many the crystal keys or the whites are. I think they're 90, because they're fairly cheap. The blues, I don't know how much the blue is, but you add those together and the total comes a lot closer, right? So, but yeah, 5,000 crystal keys, and of course you didn't have to invest the paint and the resin and all those other resources, which I guess you could probably sell those your savings and get.
I guess Chad is saying it's $100. I guess I was off. I thought it was $100 for
5,000 crystal
10,000.
keys is
U.S. country modifiers 2 times, so sucked.
Right? I thought the U.S. country modifier was for pricing was 1, and because in Canada ours is in Canada ours is would be 4,000 crystal keys.
Yeah,
and our monthly auction or adventure road is 1,800 crystal keys. Yeah, 1,800. So and so as a baseline, 1,800 was the adventure road was $20 in my mind before. So yeah, I think we're right at 50, but it is what it is, what it's worth. All I'm just gonna say at this end of the day, we can't be wrong with saying it's 5,000 crystal keys, whatever that cost you. And it is what in your local currency, it is what it is. Now, and I think if you can level your user vault up as well, your green user vault. So that's the other advantage here is we can push it up to level 10. I don't see a reason why you'd want to push it to level 10, because the cost in resin and resources to push that from level 1 to 10 is a lot. And as the owner, you get the same payout of 5% of the keys going into it. So the fact that it's paying out more to the user doesn't really advantages every user. And I, as one single user, obviously get advantage of it, but I'm paying a lot to give that advantage out. So, similar to my thoughts, which were in the trade shacks, which is you want access to trade shacks, but you don't necessarily want it to be the guy that's investing in them. I'd modify that statement by saying that if you want to contribute to your community and your local area team, then yeah, you can invest in trade shacks and build them for the community, but it's a selfless act that you have no payback for any greater than the other user. So
Right. Yeah, and so yeah, just following in the chat, what they're saying about the country modifier, just so I don't have to come back and correct next episode, it's making sense now. So in the US, they do pay 2 times for everything, like everything that they pay for, and for us in Canada, it is 1.8 times the base price. So we'll end up having to pay 9,000 crystal keys.
okay, so
So it's
what we
just the
saw in
same
there,
over.
5,000 is actually
Yeah.
multiply that by 2. Ouch.
Yeah, so if you're in a country where you just have the 1 times modifier, like you don't have any change to it, so you would just pay 5,000 crystal keys for a green vault. But because we're crushing it in Canada, they make us pay more, and the US is leading the pack.
Clearly. So, okay. So that's a much larger investment than we were thinking here. So,
Yeah,
all right.
right on. So yeah, so moving on to our next item
And
here.
then, of course, the cost of that, 3 unique stamps. So, and unique means 3 different countries. So
Yep.
that's a big thing. What are your thoughts? Are you going to build one?
Eventually, I'm not in a rush right now. I have some different strategies for the year right now. I think I might do some leaderboard pushes and just try and actually hunt in the later half of the year. But right now, I'm just doing some base building and prepping for events, just so events are nice and easy and I don't have to worry about rushing out to get any structures on the ground.
Right on.
How about yourself? Like, I guess I should mention too, I already have 2 green user vaults in Stratford. So I don't really need a third. I barely hit my second. I've got one that's just around the block for me. But the second one I got to go out of my way for. So a third 3 kilometers away may not make a lot of sense.
Yeah.
May change in the future.
I've got one location that I might do it. It's actually on a fountain. So I've kind of been saving it for a fountain, but I don't know when they're going to come into place or what's going to go like that. So I'm definitely tempted here. But, all right. So I guess the other thing to note about the green user vaults is that using them, you're going to get 10 points for the new Explorer board, and they are talking about Cubieverse being built off of those for sure, and we'll see where this goes. So I think that leads us nicely into the Explorer leaderboard reward change. So I don't know if you've paid much attention to the Explorer leaderboards at all, whereby basically you were getting points for hitting yellows, new yellows, and going on. I've was planning to do a yellow leaderboard run sometime soon. I was hoping to get to Toronto and then do the 2 in Toronto, Hamilton, and Kitchener-Waterloo. Pick up 4 in the month, and I was hoping that would place me well enough for a good placement.
Yeah.
From a pair.
Well, I was even looking at the leaderboard, and I only saw 73 people on there, so I was kind of having similar thoughts that I just even want to place, because top 100 are going to receive the Epic Explorer QB, right? When they do that snapshot.
Yeah, but now that's become, so they've changed that from being a monthly reward to like a yearly position, right?
Yeah.
So that changes that, because I know, like, we've gone to Hamilton a few times, and it's like, hey, do you want to get the yellow in Hamilton? And it's like, no, because I want to make sure if once I get the yellow in Hamilton, I feel like I want to get those other ones. So I've been holding off on that. But now with this change, I don't have that obligation. I was actually thinking about going and like this month of maybe making that run, but then they announced all those new yellows that went up, and I thought, oh well, I'm gonna you know, there's gonna be more competition with all these new yellows
Hmm.
going up. So
Yeah.
I'm gonna hold off. So now they've changed it. I think they've changed it better. That's more of a longer term thing, which makes a lot of sense. I think that fits. So I think it's a really good change. And plus, likewise, you get points for green user votes as well now, which is kind of cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
So maybe
So
a,
yeah, I'll. Well, actually, that's going to happen October 1st, isn't it? So we have quite a bit of time to make some moves on the Epic Explorer board.
yeah. So I would look at change and look at the all time as opposed to the monthly view on that Epic
Mhm.
leaderboard position to see where things are. Um,
Yeah.
anyways, it's kind of cool. I
Yeah.
like.
Well, I might be down for a road trip. If anyone out there in the area wants to do it, because I'm going to be all by myself in the later half of the year, just working on other leaderboards. So might as well try out Explorer at the time too.
Right
So,
on.
yeah.
So, okay. So, scrolling through here, what do I bring up here? Um, green user vaults, green new functionality, rewards, more tutorials, and then we got that. Okay. So, um, moving off of that, they announced the events um, for this coming. Um, I guess it was not this coming month. It was Easter, right? So,
Yeah.
what do you think of the first of all the change in the cubies? So,
Yeah, that's pretty epic. I like the rabbit change. It's all a little bit confusing the way that it's going to go down, and I don't expect it to happen smoothly. So have some patience when this does happen. But just looking through at the blueprint, that Chinese New Year rabbit is looking pretty cool, and the rabbits we already have are just going to become the rare Easter rabbits. And like, I really hope this isn't one giant stupid rug pull because year after year we've been asking for rabbits, and then all of a sudden they say we're getting two, and then last minute they're going to say, "Hi, April Fools." So I don't think April Fools counts when you do it a couple weeks out. Hopefully this is exactly what's going to happen, and it's nice to have a little mini Easter event and a key burn event. Miss those, just running around after work. What are your thoughts on it?
so I think that when we first saw the Chinese New Year rabbit, I think I commented on here that it looked more like an Easter bunny, Easter rabbit. Um,
Hmm.
and clearly, other people thought the same thing as well, which is why they've changed it. I think the new rabbit looks much more like um, a Chinese New Year rabbit that we're going to get. I think that's a good change, and good on them for coming back and thinking about it, and taking that criticism to heart, and making changes on it. So that's good. I didn't know the community was wanting rabbits per se, other than sounds like what we were wanting was something for Easter, which is like an Easter event, which is cool. Um, but it sounds to me like as long as you can continue to print the existing blueprint, and you get the existing rabbit, that will turn into the rare rabbit, but um, you're using the Chinese New Year resources. So, and then when the uh, new event starts, you'll be able to print the same rabbit again using the um, resources of the Easter resources. So, uh,
Hmm.
I personally am not going to print on any more rabbits until the event changes, because I think, as they said, um, resources, even the common resources, are kind of hard to get. So I'm thinking what you're going to find is that the Chinese New Year rabbit is trade stores ends up being more expensive than the Easter Bunny rabbit, even though it's a rare rabbit, right? At least for the first little while or so. So
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Um, and then with that, um, we're gonna go for the like the Easter mini event, starting end of March to April. So I did really like these 2 day events before the um, uh, uh, what was that one called, the Mac and Me event, and
Yep.
the
Because that was the Mystery Science Theater
yeah,
3000.
yeah, and the
That was
Zelda.
actually pretty cool because
And
that was the first one we were introduced to the mini events, right? So we didn't really know what
yeah,
was going on and didn't know if we were going to get another one. And I went hard on that one. I've got a lot of wire sitting
right,
around.
yeah, and you know, and the Zelda event was cool too. I really like both of those because they were new resources, and there was both, like, I want to say, a race to be who's gonna get the first print, who's gonna be the first print, right?
Hmm.
Wife and I went out that first night, and we thought we had the first print on the Zelda. My wife she had better RNG than I did, where I was heavily weighted on the run resource, and she was getting a good fit. So she got enough. I was like a couple short. We rushed off to Trade Shack, threw in the extra key for the fast print. It popped, and she had it on, and we were waiting for the message to come out that said she got it, and there was nothing. It's like, what's going on? What's going on? And damn it, like probably 5 minutes later, a message came in, someone else had printed it. So I
Oh man,
assumed it was a freaking lag issue or something like that.
right.
So whatever, but we're like so close. So I don't know. I found that a lot of fun. So um, just just
Plumber Boy was actually saying the trees during that event. I agree. Like the trees were all mystic. It was cool.
yeah,
It really looked like we were diving into the Cubieverse world there. So that's something I want to see a lot more of in events. Just seeing the random stuff around us change.
yeah. And honestly, it helped me figure out. I learned where all my blues were around me. I really wasn't paying attention to that, but now I know where all the blues are, which helped during the Christmas event, and this last one too, because I was always wanting to make sure I hit the new blues, all the blues, right? So um, building routes to hit maximizing my blues. So, anyways, I think it's good. The fact that the QB that we're getting, we've already kind of got, is kind of a so-so, but I get it. I see what's going on, um,
Mhm.
and in the long run, not a bad thing. And we'll get more resources and be able to print those. And it's good that you'll get the points for the for both new prints as well.
Mhm.
So, anyways, so that's cool. So I like that. And then I guess the last major item that we've got is the St. Patrick's Day QB coming
Mhm.
out. Shop drop, March 17th. Only 500 blueprints available. What's your thoughts? 250,000 QB coin price. And that's not going to be doubled, right?
Yeah. I hope not. I think that just applies to other things. There's no modifier on this shop drop.
Okay.
It's just a straight cubic coin
He's
price.
just making a joke at my
Um,
bad math.
yeah, I'm going to sell some more stuff, rip it out of my inventory. I'm going to buy it. I guess it's just like the pirate and shark. That their paint blueprints, so is this. It's entirely paint to print it. So don't expect to be making a killing off of selling this QB in the auction house. But like anything else, if it's within reach and not too far out of reach, I'm gonna grab it. I'm gonna buy it. I'm obsessed with stock in my inventory. How about yourself? You're gonna snag one of these while you can. They did say it's gonna come back if it doesn't sell out, but there is only 500 available.
There's only 500 available. Last time these items went up, like the sharks and the Pirate, they all sold out like super fast. 500, and I mean that was like the second or third time, but I think we've got more players in. Yeah, I'm grabbing this one. I think they were talking about, well, if it sells out within the first 48, it's open for 48 hours. If it sells out, we may have to do another one next year. Uh, I'm afraid it may sell out within the first 48 minutes. You know, based upon how fast those sharks and whatnot went. Um, we'll see. I may be right, may be wrong. I don't know. The 250K Cubicoin price point is interesting because it feels like might be trying to set a floor for Epic Blueprint prices in that range, which may have impacts on the auction house for Blueprint pricing, right? For Epics, because I would say, based upon this, 250,000 should be the minimum. You would expect you'd get one for in the auction house, and you know you would think other epics should go for have this as a similar sort of minimum, right? And I know someone commented here that the Pirate took 3 different sales to sell out, which is true, but one, growth of the player base over those three sales, I think was a significant factor in the fact that the third one they went up and they sold super quick, right? So, and likewise as well, when they first went up, right? Keys were a lot harder to get back when the Pirate was first released.
Absolutely.
Right? So 2,000 keys for it was like super epically hard. Getting to by the time it sold for in the last one, I think.
Sorry, I just gotta cut you off there for a
Sure.
second. I'm about to have a technical difficulty. We're gonna go down for about a minute here. Just be right back. Would you just be able to prepare for that? I gotta log off for a second here, atrocities.
Okay. We
All
will
right,
be
so I'm just
right
gonna
back.
kill it right now.
And we should hopefully be back. We're going to need to adjust that.
Okay. There we are. Sorry about that, guys.
Okay, and just let me get the audio. Okay, are we back? Can you hear me?
Yes.
Cool. Everyone, hey, sorry about that.
Okay, hopefully we're back. Hopefully we got the audio working, and we'll go from there. Um, so
Say no Lionheart again. Can everyone hear me, or is it just off? Wait for the delay here.
okay.
Yep.
Okay, good.
We're good.
So, um, people don't think it's going to sell it that fast. Well, I guess we'll see. Um,
Yeah, I don't know. I got my own thoughts on that because I agree it took 3 times to sell. But like you said, it was much harder to get keys back then. And when we had a much stronger player base come out, it was good to go. So Illusion Weaver stated that there's 30,000 active players. I know there's some QB coins out there. We'll have to see. Like I think it's going to go a lot quicker than what some people think. But that's just my 2 cents on that.
yeah, and I guess the question is going to be how many players actually have 250,000 cubic coins sitting around at this point. You know, might have blown all yours, so there may be a lot of other people in that similar
Yeah.
situation where all the cubic coin is accumulated with the players that have the epic Halloween blueprint. So, and there's not enough to get there. So we shall see how that turns out. But I'm not going to wait to buy them, and we'll see where it goes. I think the St. Patrick's Day QB looks kind of cool. This one, and we'll see where it goes. I know obviously somebody may want to get a bunch of those if they need to fill out their green user vaults. So that's it.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Is there anything else that we may have missed in regards to the trade shacks? Or not trade shacks. I was thinking of the damn trade shacks. The Hunter's Lodge.
Yeah, so there was a little bean that was released at the end. Did you happen to have that picture ready? So Legion Weaver said Hunter's Lodge 16 comes around,
Right.
and he had a little bean, and very quickly he held
Yep.
up a picture.
Somebody,
Was able to,
we got that screenshot and thrown on screen right now, and it certainly looks
yeah,
like a pizzeria. Um,
yeah,
so highly
for
likely that it's going to be the long awaited um, pizza stretcher
it's
released.
a little
So
pixelated, so I can get a better view on it. But I'm a little bummed. I was hoping like a Tim Hortons or McDonald's would be coming for some other form of export. But I guess I'll get out and get a white vault down on a Pizza Hut or something nearby, something branded probably.
yeah, possibly. I mean, who knows, right? What's going to be? So because I mean, very likely it's not a um, the outside is branded for Tim Hortons, but the inside piece is the same. Obviously, this is a pizza place, so um, they could be branding like a pizza or Pizza Hut or whatever on the outside with the inside whatever. So, anyways, we'll see how it goes. So, but yeah, no, it's definitely a little pixelated image there. Oh, look at that. Um, but definitely a pizza guy he's got, for sure. So, I did notice that there were also some things hanging on his wall off to the side where I knew he showed that one on, but I was hoping maybe someone else can zoom in on that left wall and pull some other interesting things out. So, um,
Yeah. I do remember earlier in the show he did a wave like this, so I don't know if it was this image or if it was another bean that we need to hone in on. But yeah, this is enough. It looks like we're gonna get possibly a rare or maybe an epic, maybe
yeah.
both, because the pizza QB we have right now is just a common.
Yeah, for sure. Well, if this is a pizza shop, the pizza shop was supposed to be an export option, so um,
Mhm.
just being able to export to get pizza would be a cool thing. So,
Yeah, start getting some real life rewards instead of just the
yeah,
virtual rewards that we
I'll
have
t-
with Crystal
I'll
Keys.
take what I save on ordering pizza on Fridays and take that money and throw it into the buy Bitcoin market with it. So,
Yeah, you know what? There's always ways to budget, right, guys? So whatever ways that you can
absolutely.
try and hopefully spend some money out of this game and put it back into crypto.
All right, cool. So yeah, I think that was the last bean we had, and so shall we talk about the Buddy Quest?
Right on. Yeah, I wasn't around for the Buddy Quest shout out last week. I was just in my car at work on my lunch, taking part there. I'm glad that Plumber Boy was able to come out. It was great having him on the show. Hopefully, we're able to get him back at some point. And yeah, if you bring up the Buddy Quest shout out there.
I have brought the image up.
Okay, so got to give a huge shout out to the Brizzle and Makakiki Tiki. I'm murdering that. I'm sorry, I'm not going to do a second attempt. But you two have been killing it lately, not just on Buddy Quests, but just the game in general. I think the Brizzle was the first to get down a sushi shop. And okay, here's the second attempt. Makakiki Tiki was able to get down the Ace blueprint. So that's pretty cool.
I thought she was the first to print the epic Jade Dragon.
Oh, okay, was that what it is? But I've just been seeing the Brizzle left, right, and center.
Yeah,
That name's popping up a lot lately. So good job killing it to both of you guys.
excellent. All right, well, that's what we've got for tonight. So thank you, everybody, for logging on. I think there is. We went along in our conversation. I think someone tells me there's another Cubieverse podcast. It starts at 9 or so. So out of respect to them, I don't think we'll do a Q&A tonight. I don't necessarily know if they're actually doing a show or what's going on with that, but I had heard that.
Yeah, I think I saw a tweet that they were going live tomorrow. But in any case,
Okay.
let's open the floor to.
Okay, so then if that's the case, we'll stick around for a few minutes for the Q&A, and if they're going live on somebody else, then hey, feel free to
Let me
jump
just
over
do a
that way.
quick
So,
check on Twitter here. I'm not sure if anyone else in the chat can confirm if they're going tomorrow. Yeah, tomorrow night at 6 p.m. to discuss Hunter's Lodge 15. So yeah, I guess we can stick around and do a Q&A and not step on their toes tonight.
all right, and since
so
we already
I
had
got-
a quick break, we won't do our usual bio break, and we just pop right into it. So if there's anything anybody wants to throw into the chat to discuss, we can go there. Otherwise, I guess we'll just talk for another minute or two and see what comes up. So, the one thing we didn't discuss was the sushi restaurants. I know that they had said they were going to come out after the Chinese New Year event was done or mid February, but I was not aware that they had been released until I saw someone had finished printing one. So I don't know if did I miss something there or.
I don't know when the first release date was. I think last time I checked, Canada still has 18 in the shop, but they were sold out in the United States.
Yeah.
So I think Illusion Weaver said next week we're going to get more sushi shop blueprints in the shop.
Yeah. So I'm not planning on printing any. I know there's 2 going up in our local area, so that should be plenty. And I don't know how often you can actually do the quest. I think it might be once a week or so.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see.
And it's a park your butt quest too. Like you got to stick around for 45 minutes. So,
45 minutes. We did it when we went to we were in Vegas, and went in, sat down, started going. Lost connectivity due to the Wi-Fi in the or just network connectivity in that area a couple times. Fortunately, I was able to reconnect while I was still there, so that was good. But I do believe if you move, it's a you lose it. But I hadn't moved, so I was able to reconnect, which was fine. But with 2 in the area, I'll have plenty of options. Ideally, it'd be nice if you could. It's a different count for each one, similar to the way the trade checks are, but I don't think that's going to be the case. So we shall see.
Right.
I did see there's a
I
bunch of sushis up in the trade store right now, and they seem like they're getting a somewhat decent price for them. But we'll see. So.
Yeah, I've got a couple myself. I've got the slippery seal and the sushi chef. I don't have the master. Obviously, that's a little tricky to get. But yeah, I'm ready to staff them, but I don't think I'll need to because my wife is looking at building one.
Nice. And have you got
so just on
the
note,
sushi symbol to build upon in your area?
yeah, we got Pearl Sushi in Stratford.
But is it showing
included
that
on the map?
It is showing that in the OSM as a sushi.
Yeah. So as soon as they announced it, like we raced downtown and double checked the tag, and it said that it's a sushi pack.
Cool.
So.
And I see here in the notes, Plumber Boy is waiting the OSM to update, and hopefully the Golden Dragon here in town will be updated. And it looks like he's the one that actually edited it in OSM. So, guys, just to ask him, did he edit it, or is he waiting on someone else to do it? Because gotta do it yourself. We should definitely maybe do a show sometime on OSM.
Yeah, I've never done it myself. I've been kind of lucky that a lot of the stuff in my area is where I need it to be and spaced out well enough. But there's certainly some deserts where I would expect some tags to be, like parks that don't have tags, bus stops that don't have tags, plenty of restaurants and stores that don't have tags. So definitely get on there, update it. It's going to take a bit of legwork, but I'm sure you'll be happy you did, especially if you're looking to build.
Right.
And just real quickly on that. The other, either the coin, I don't know if the address is Coin Hunt World Maps or Cubieverse Maps, but those maps will be updated with the sushi restaurants tag very shortly. It is a fan-based website. It's not run by Titanium Toaster Corp, so just give them a bit of time to do their thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any real commentary from the chat, unless you want to scroll back in and see if there's anything you want to address.
Well, there was just a few other things. So my comment about the sushi restaurants on the map was just coming from the Q&A in the Hunter's Lodge itself. And one other thing that popped out that I hope is followed through on is going to uniform timer resets for everything. So that means no more individual personal resets. I think Trade Shacks have gone back to that now. So I think they're just going to do a universal timer reset. You interact with it, and it's X amount of X amount of days before it resets at universal time change.
Yeah.
So that'll be pretty cool.
I noticed, I saw that comment, which is good, and certainly it seems like Cocoa Puffs is wanting the common timer, which is good because, and just even from a back-end perspective, that's one less thing they have to track for every individual, right? Like you would have all
I'm
these
sure that puts a lot of strain on the server.
Versus now it's one across the board reset. I think is great. We went back and did the Trade Shacks yesterday when I got home, and I noticed it was back, and that was the first thing. I was totally disappointed with that because, as I said in the one show where it's like, oh, what time did we get those? Oh, I think it was 7. And you just show up at 7. It's, oh, no, it's 7:15 last time. So now I got to wait for 15 minutes before it resets. It's kind of annoying.
What I'll be looking forward to is the vending machines. If we get universal time reset on that, that'll be cool. Just once a week.
Yeah. No, I know my vending machine kept getting pushed out. So it is. And, if I'm going to be forking over 90,000 or 90,000 crystal keys for a green user vault blueprint, I don't want to be missing too many of those. Too many of those converting 900 at a time. So, because right now, the way I figured, it's like 4 weeks in a month. So 2 weeks goes to get my Adventure Road Pass paid for, and then I got 2 weeks to export for everything else. So, and if I'm tempted to get a green vault down, then that goes. That goes.
Right on.
All right. Well, I'm not seeing any real questions coming in, so let's call it a day and call a show. And then next week we will have Magic Dragon back and hopefully continue to improve all of our technical issues, sound-wise and everything else. But the good thing is we did have some technical issues, but we were able to solve them within a couple minutes of the show. So that's always a good thing. And
you're doing fantastic over there. I really got to give some props out to you. Again, I got to say to everyone else, Trosties has zero experience. So the fact that he's just picking this up and keeping us on board, left foot, right foot, tip of the hat to you, sir.
Yeah, I just learned to read instructions, so that's all. The Brizzle's asking, how do I get to claim my loot? And the answer to that is that we clarified this the other show, but we'll clarify it again in that we had a misunderstanding on the number of loot codes we would be getting. So as a result, we don't currently have any loot codes. We will expect to get some at that point in time. So people that are winning our weekly shout out get the shout out, and best advantage of that shout out is people will friend you. Certainly I'll friend you, and you get to do a buddy quest with me at some point in time, which is worth the price of admission.
Yeah.
Maybe not. We'll see. Depends on the day. But once we do get more loot codes, we will do a draw of the people that have won the shoutouts, and we'll hand out some loot codes at that point in time. So
yeah, definitely. And another cool aspect of that is you can just hop on Twitter or X and type in hashtag BuddyQuest shoutout, and there is a plethora of people to add to your friends list. So just quality people, you don't have to mess around with, probably going to hammer it out in the same day. So.
Yeah. And Brizzle's saying only if you do BQs the same day. Personally, I prefer to do BQs within the same hour if I can. So
yeah, the sooner the better.
Sooner the better, so I can get the next one. Because I don't know if you've noticed this, but it seems to me the faster you do Buddy Quest, the faster you get your next one. And they just keep coming. So like 4 days seems like it's the minimum. But I know I was a streak there where I had a couple of good people, and I was getting them like every 4 days, like clockwork. So,
yeah,
for sure.
Yeah, I just haven't had a buddy quest in quite some time now. I don't know if it's been over a week, but hopefully one comes through soon.
Yeah, I turned mine off because I was traveling there. Obviously, there's no vaults anywhere around me, so that would have been terrible to get one. But I turned mine off, so I'm curious as to how long before it qualifies me for another one. So, awesome. All right, well that's it for the show. We'll talk to you all later. Thank you everybody for joining up and watching us. And as they say with the YouTube, please like, subscribe, and comment below. And if you do comment below, maybe we'll even respond to those if we see any. So, awesome. Okay, signing off for now.